I got a list. I got Young Birth Control. I got Young Before Christ.
Young Birth Control.
Ben Young. I like my favorite one. Someone told me was Young Ben Chillin'. Young Ben Chillin'.
Young Ben Chillin'.
BC just Bannon Clark. That's just the full. Keep it basic. I don't know. People were saying I should just be Bannon, but Young BC is it's gone on for too long. I gotta stick with it. I can't run from it. But I love it. I do love it. But the Adam 22 thing is fucking hilarious, I will say. Just because of, like, the timing of it, I was just bored. And then people were like, yo, you really, like, that's crazy. You met him through all this. But, like, I've been a fan. I've genuinely been a no-jumper fan. I think he's a marketing genius. Mm-hmm. I genuinely, like, I feel like you can understand that. You can understand that it's all marketing. And people were like, yo, that's, like, but they're talking about him. They're having that conversation and talking about that.
Everybody, he was trending for, like, 2 weeks straight.
Yo, they doing some crazy stuff now. What they're the upcoming, I don't think we can say on camera, but like the crazy stuff that they're doing now.
What are they doing now?
I'm pretty sure they're doing because they have the plug talk. So like they did that, capitalized on that. That's another story. What they were doing, they're winning AVN awards, doing that, capitalizing on OnlyFans. But they're doing like a 2 live stream where they're doing a podcast in one room and the other one's gonna be a massive orgy. And like that's like what they're doing. Like that's their next big thing that they're promoting is like. It's 2 completely different things going on. It's like they're doing a podcast in one, and the other room is just like it's just both going on at once.
What the fuck?
I swear, I'm pretty sure, and I know the orgy one's a fact. But they're then promoting it. They're like, we're gonna do it next week, and it's only on Plug Talk. But he's a marketing genius, man. I gotta give him credit where credit's due. People can hate, but I really
he started
give him
with
that.
a magazine too. It was a magazine first. He was doing a street or like skating or something.
It was like a BMX. He had a BMX shop.
Okay, I was like BMX. Okay,
BMX. He got into that, and then he found out about YouTube, started posting on YouTube, and then he started having like local LA rappers, and then one of them blew up, and then more rappers. It's the same shit. Like
he just caught on to the SoundCloud wave like really early. Like
Well, he got the first Triple X interview, I think. And that's what kind of
was it the first? Well, I did not know that. I didn't know he got
the first. Like I think the first one he did in LA or some shit. Or one of the first ones.
Because it was just interesting because y'all know like watch like you know who Trevor Bauer is.
Who?
Trevor Bauer, the baseball player, got suspended for domestic violence. It was a big time pitcher for the Dodgers at the time. The Dodgers just got him. I also met him that same day too, and like I'm a Dodgers fan, so like I saw him and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy, Trevor Bauer." And then 3 weeks later, the whole incident went down where like he got busted. Allegedly, like he found out it wasn't the case, but then that happened. But the Adam 22 thing was crazy. And then I got on No Jumper, which was like even crazier. And then the funniest part is that like now too is like, yo, Jack Harlow get out the way, and now Jack Harlow is one of the biggest stars right now. So it's like, and I was right when like What's Poppin' just came out. I'm pretty sure like it wasn't like First Class or anything of that nature. No. So it's funny. It's funny how the world works. How if you save stuff, it could pay off in the future. It really can.
Yeah, just always.
I gotta recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, and see what performs and repurpose it. I follow this La Russell.
I was just gonna say that. No. Listen, bro. I knew you were gonna say La Russell because you posted about him, and I just heard one of his like a hell of a feeling. It's featuring him and Simba. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs. But you pay attention to a lot of La Russell. I see.
So La Russell, to be honest, I don't even listen to his music.
Really?
I see his content.
I see.
I'm like,
yeah,
this was a beast, bro. So he had a recent post. He says he's posting 5 times a day on two platforms. So he has the Good Company platform, which is like his music platform, and then the La Russell page. So they're posting 5 times a day on Instagram, and 5 times a day on TikTok, 5 times a day on I don't know what other stuff. And he repurposes old videos. So he'll have something from 3 months ago. That's part of the 5 per day. So
have you met him at all, or
no?
You because I saw you post something about him, and then you got me catching on to him a little bit, and then I heard that one song, and I knew it was featuring him, and I was like. Yo, he's like, it was good, but like that's the other thing too with music.
So I started following this because he's doing concerts in his backyard, bro.
Yeah,
and that's like
he brought Sada Baby. He brought like a bunch of people. Yeah,
so he has it once a month. Either he's actually going on tour. He does tours in different cities, like. But basically, it was like creating a platform for artists to he performs, and then other artists perform in his backyard. His mom will cook the food. It's a community event. Sometimes they do donation based, so people don't buy tickets. It's you pay whatever you want at the door. Whatever value it brings to you. So if you got $5, you could afford $5. You pay $5. If you want to support the movement, pay $200. People pay $200.
I did not know that was all donation based.
Donation based, bro, and it's like a hangout, and it's not. They're not promoting like some of the other stuff that other rappers are promoting. You know, they're keeping it more real. So it's also what they call woke rap.
Yeah.
So they're rapping about.
He's a very like passionate.
So sometimes that's not too mainstream, and you know, sometimes you want to hear that fucking the Lil Uzi verse.
You don't want to hear that.
Yo,
Yeah.
fucking-
I like the woke stuff personally. I personally, me as an artist, I would rather do the woke stuff than the Uzi stuff, if I'm being 100% honest. Because
Yeah.
like I could just rap about it. Because I like to rap about like stories and
Exactly.
how I feel.
So
and all
it's
that.
all storytelling. So he's independent. Labels have been trying to sign him, and he doesn't want to sign with anybody. He's like, no, like he's changing the way independent artists should make music. So, for example, someone could buy stock in his music. So let's say you have $500, you want to own a piece of one of your songs. So now, every time you stream it, you're actually earning because you own a piece of that song. So you promote that song to all your friends because you're like, hey, shit, listen to the song, listen to the song, listen to the song, because you own a little percentage, like if it was a stock.
Yeah.
And if the song blows up, you'll be making money forever. You know, that's his whole motto. Is like, it's a community based people who believe in that movement.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like music is just drastically changed as far as like you don't like. I'm not saying like you need to be in a record label, like that helps as far as like paying for a lot of things. But like if you got someone like LaRussell where it's like he's building his own platform, it's like why do I need a record label when everything I'm doing and I'm getting 100% of it. Well, he probably has a manager and has to pay for other things, but like still like it's crazy. I did catch him on because of you. And then like I heard that one song with Simba because I really like his music, and he was doing Sway in the Morning, and I really liked it. And I gotta listen more to his music, but I didn't even know his mom was cooking in the backyard, and it was all donation based. I know we did the concerts in the backyard, but I didn't know it was all donation based.
Yeah, so some shows he might charge at the door or whatever, but it's part of because he has a nonprofit too, so he's able to get nonprofit funding in there. So it's a combination of everything. And his merch, he also sells it as donation based. So if you think a sweater, if a sweater and you can only afford $10, but you really want to support, $10. But if you want to pay $50 for a sweater, some people pay $50. And he said he made like $10,000 off a backyard show, all donation based, because some people were down to. But now he's had like famous people from the Bay Area because it's in Oakland, I think, or somewhere over there. And like he's got famous people coming down, like supporting the movement because it's a positive, a platform for artists. It's a positive, it's community. And like the message of his songs is part of it, you know. And then like the thing I resonated the most, one is he's dropping a shitload of content.
Yeah.
And two, he does concerts in his backyard.
Which you got,
and
which is me walk in, I'm like, where's the stage? Like, where's the vendors? Like, where's the taco truck? Oh, come on now. Like, where's all this at now? Like,
so that shit just it's like, oh shit, I relate to this food. So, Yungbc.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thank you. I'm finally happy to be here. We finally got it worked out, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
I know we've been trying to do a podcast for a while. We were talking before the show. This is your third time coming to the podcast.
Third time, yeah.
The third time. I don't think many people have done more than 3 times. I think
I'm honored.
You're
I
in
really
the top. There's less than 10 people that have been on there more than twice.
I'm honored, man. I appreciate you. I think it's funny. We were talking about a lot of things before, but I think it's just more about the growth. I don't like to talk about the growth of myself, but like especially the growth of you, man. Like, I mean, who would have thought like 4 years ago when we did this first podcast that you would have this awesome setup in Desert Underground to all this different, like, who really would have, like, that's crazy. And we've had like so many internal conversations just at shows, or anytime we meet, it's always love. So I think it's funny that it's just like, but it just shows that your work and your passion and what you put into so many things. I look up to you in that way. So I appreciate you, man, for real.
No, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Like, I remember 2019, I was getting into the music scene, more like recording. I was recording already shows back then.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I never envisioned to do shows. That wasn't.
I was a part of the first Desert Underground. That was a
part of the first Desert Underground.
So fun, man. That was a good time. I don't say, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't say that about a lot of shows because like either some shows go really good or like really bad. Yeah. That was a fun show because that was the first time like when I was on stage and seeing that, especially just in the Valley in general, to see like that was like never done before, like really, and to be a part of that, like I think it's a cool thing. I'm gonna definitely be the guy to say, yo, I was part of the first Desert Underground, and that's all you gotta know. I was a part of the first one, so yeah. But I was happy to be a part of it, man. It was a lot of fun. It was good. I got to bring King D-Rock out. Obviously, some great content. I mean, we got a documentary about it. I mean, like, come on. Now I can't get any better than that.
No, yeah, I appreciate you for the support. You came out to the film festival as well.
I did, yes.
You were here.
All the way from Arizona, bro.
I literally know I did drive down 4 hours to be there. It was because I was already going to come back for break, but I wasn't even planning. I came like a week earlier. So my mom also liked that too. Like I got to come home a week earlier. But for that, I mean, that was just an awesome opportunity. It was good to be with everyone too. Like that was just an amazing everything about that. Even the films after were amazing too.
Yeah.
Those were awesome too. Yeah, great stories. Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking. How did it feel watching you on the screen while there's like an audience in the theater?
Crazy. crazy. I've never done that before. So I think that was just an awesome moment. But it goes to show, like how we were talking about this, like you've coming from so much and just pushing yourself to be the best. And I think it was just an awesome opportunity. It's something I'm never gonna forget. So, and hopefully to many more of those, I can say that. So
no, this is just the beginning.
Just
like
the beginning,
saying, So tell us where you've been the last 3 years. Well, you've been in Arizona. You moved out to Arizona. I've seen that you've been performing over there.
Yeah,
you've been working and creating content, getting your education.
Yeah, I'm getting my education out there as Arizona State as possible. So it's been a lot of fun being in Arizona. It's definitely way different from being in the Coachella Valley, that's for sure. It's been a lot of fun venues. Got to open for some amazing people. I'm trying to think of like Comethazine was one. That was an awesome show. Cap G. And just kind of just building my own platform out there and really appealing to more of the college audience. I've got to meet some amazing people, not even just in the music area, but just friends that I have there, and just trying to grow my name more. I think that's the one thing, and I learned, and that was kind of a risk thing because obviously when I went, it was in the midst of the pandemic. And my original plan, people don't even know this, I've never talked about this on camera. My original plan when we were talking about like what I was going to do, because all these California schools were getting shut down, I didn't know what Arizona State was going to be open. I was thinking about getting an apartment in Newport Beach.
Okay.
And just working on music there. But I'm glad I didn't do that, because being in Arizona, it's not only just grown my music a lot more, it's just opened so many new doors, new opportunities. And obviously with this being my last year, I'm just going all in more than ever. Not saying I wasn't, but now that I'm 21, I'm allowed to, network a little more outside of 18 plus places. So I can go to that. So it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me, 100%.
What's been the biggest difference of when you first got to Arizona as an artist? Of course, you had to deal with the pandemic.
Yeah.
I guess we have to.
We all know what happened. Yeah.
How does people's reactions when you tell them that you make music, that you're an artist? Like, how's it been in the college campuses? And
no, the shows have been the craziest thing, 100%, because I think the difference is, and this is just from Arizona, it's obviously way bigger. There's venues. There's places that, but pre-Desert Underground, there wasn't anything of that way, and to be able to perform it there. But to be at actual venues and doing that, I've been able to do so far at least half. I got a couple more I want to cross off the Arizona bucket list, but a lot of people are artists themselves. Not saying a whole lot are at Arizona State, but I've met people that are trying to make music and do the same thing myself. So I think it's been much more of like a brand and a marketing thing, and to get as many different people, because what I learned my freshman year was that, okay, let me give you an example. My friends from Toronto, my friends from Philly, like I got people that like listen to my music, and then they're posting it on their platforms, and then that means all of their hometown friends are seeing it from Toronto and Philly, and then that's just growing, not just from the Valley, but going all over the country, going all over the world. So I think that was the one big blessing, and I think the shows have been fun, man. Like really, like there's been some really good ones. I'm looking forward to this year. We got a couple lined up, but it's just not even just growing myself in Arizona. I just don't want to be so sheltered and just be into one. I don't want to just be in the Coachella Valley. I want to be all over, and I think that's just one mentality I've always had, and I want to stick to.
The algorithm likes that too.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh shit, someone in Philly's listening to this dude. Someone over here in Chicago and all these different cities, different countries. You said Toronto.
Yeah.
It's important to network. And of course, a college atmosphere.
Arizona State, it's how big it is too, man. It's crazy. Big party school.
Town,
yeah, big party town. I don't know anything about that, but I definitely use it to my networking. I definitely use it to my networking ability, though. I will say that. So it's been an amazing journey so far. Shout out to Arizona State, really. Like I wouldn't have gotten this jump start to my career if it wasn't for Arizona State, if I'm being 100% honest, because I just got to I've so far met so many amazing people, like people that have just like, I never thought that someone like myself would just be like, who just casually made merch, and I only saw people from the Valley wearing it, to now seeing a lot of people just posting it all over that are not from the Coachella Valley. So that's the coolest thing for me. It's awesome, and it's just a matter about how to take the next step. So I think especially with this year and the years going on, it's just how to take the next level.
What do you think is the biggest challenge since you moved to Arizona? Like the biggest struggle for you?
I'm missing my family for sure. I think me not being around my family. I think the good news is that especially there were a lot of people from the Valley that went to Arizona State. People that I'm actually living with, 2 dudes that went to Palm Desert High School with me that I've like known for 15 years of my life.
Oh, that's super dope.
And I'm living with them now. So I didn't live with them the first 3 years, but now I'm living with them now. So that gives it a little more of a home feel. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, definitely not being around your family. I think it's just more about knowing, not even consistency, but it's just like those times when you're down, and those times where you're just like constantly downing yourself, how to pick yourself out of that. And sometimes in Arizona, you can get caught in the party. Like you're talking about the party school, you can get caught in that mix. I know a lot of people that like, and I lived in downtown Phoenix my freshman year. I didn't live in Tempe my freshman year. And to me, that was also one of the best decisions that could have happened, because I know a lot of people that lived in Tempe their freshman year and they went too crazy. They never had that. They just never knew how to turn it off. And me being in downtown Phoenix, it was a lot more of being with journalism kids, because that's my major, being with them and being around motivated individuals. So I think that really helped me, and it made me be like, okay, well, I'm going to use my music. And there wasn't like a lot of kids in journalism doing music. So I was like kind of like the one guy. So it's funny when you hear Yungbc or something like that on the halls. It was definitely fun, but those would be the reasons. Yeah.
What's like journalism being taught right now because of the age of social media? Like,
Yeah.
how is that approach? Like, how are the college even teaching this? Because everything's evolving so fast, where journalism has to be more tailored to social media, because
Yeah.
people's attention is on the phone now. Like,
Well, it's weird because there's so many different forms of journalism. So they teach a lot of different ones. There's like just the news journalism, there's sports journalism. A lot of my buddies, like I would say like 85% of them are all in sports journalism.
Yeah.
Then there's social media. So I'm doing a lot more of that. There's PR. So it's all taught in just so many different ways. It just depends on the route you go. But they definitely teach it more. It's interesting the way that they teach it, but you learn a lot. But I think the joy of it, like, I don't know, I can't get like too deep into it, because it's like, it just depends on what your opinion of journalism is. But I think the joy of taking journalism is that you're allowed to form your own opinions. You're allowed to, what they're telling you, it's like, okay, now I see what's going on. So I think a lot of it too, if I'm being honest, and this is a positive, it was preaching diversity. Diversity in newsrooms. That was like their whole thing for a while, but it's all over the place. It really is.
And what's like your goal with the journalism? I know you're majoring in journalism.
Yeah.
What was like your focus? Since you say there's so many different aspects.
Yeah.
Where you're thinking of
Social
sports,
media, social media for
that's
sure. Because I was doing a lot more social media content. This last year I was doing a lot more just like classes and understanding algorithms just to better my page, because I've learned as an artist you got to play the social media game. You got to promote yourself. You got to do that unless you want to succeed. And you can hate the stigma of the TikTok or all that, but when that song hits and you're making that money and you're doing that, you're going to throw that out the window. So for me, like, I just had to learn, okay, how do I properly post? I mean, a lot of it's also trial and error. Like, you understand that. Like, there's sometimes you post and you think it's amazing, but quote unquote algorithm doesn't hit. Yeah. So it's all through that, but like it gives you more of the difference between like organic and paid ads. Like, you're learning a lot more about the business side of things. And this last year, I've taken more time in the business side of social media and doing that and just bettering my page in the process.
What do you think is like the number one lesson or the number one thing the artists lack when it comes to social media? What do you think is holding people back from posting? What do you think is holding people back from taking that step to even just create? Because I feel like all the artists is the same thing. They hate it. They hate the posting. They hate it. Like, what do you think is holding?
Listen, I don't love it either, if I'm being 100% honest. There's sides, but like that's just me being ignorant. But it's literally like you just said, not wanting to create. It's not wanting to take the risk and to feel like you're being held back because of what other people are going to say. And I've lived my life and through music. I wouldn't be here if I didn't just do it my way. And obviously you got support and you got help from other people, but I think it's just that holding you back, not wanting to create. I feel like that's the one thing that's holding you back, is not trying something different or being afraid to do something. Because all it takes really, like you see with artists, like it takes one thing. Like especially the beginning of TikTok, you look back at a lot of artists that had that one big song and it blew up and it did them numbers and all that. But like my goal is that like I want to be able to stay consistent after the fact. If that was to happen, I want to be able to stay consistent after the fact, because you see a lot of artists kind of come and go when they drop one big song, and that's like, it's not all they're known for, but like, yo, if you're getting 50 million streams on one song and then that's getting you show opportunities and all that, and then you're networking with all these people, it's worth it. So it's just about taking risks. I believe about taking risks.
Why not try it? You know?
Why not? No, seriously. Yeah.
Like, and there's nothing wrong with being a one-hit wonder.
No.
Because everybody needs that opportunity. You're like, if one song takes off, but then it's up to you. That's the algorithm. God's giving you a chance to compete. And once you get that one song, it's like, okay, cool. Now, what's my project look like? Yeah. But usually, it's better when you already have like a consistent track record or a plan while you're doing the social media game. So, worst case scenario, you don't blow up. You're still dropping music. You're still dropping songs. You're still dropping music videos. You still have performances scheduled, networking. And then you said you were in LA recently.
Yeah.
So, Could you tell us a little bit about what were you doing in LA
Yeah.
regarding content and everything?
So Arizona State decided to pay for me fully to be out in Los Angeles. That's basically no. There's it's called the LA Content Studio through Arizona State. It was kind of an opportunity for me to learn more about content, how to do it. Because I think the one thing for me with my music, I feel it's been able to stand out is the content that I post. I feel like that's one, as you're talking about like what's holding people back, it's about posting content. And for me, I wanted to be in Los Angeles, number one, being someone born and raised here. I wanted to be in Southern California and have that experience, and especially with music in LA. So I got the opportunity to be there all summer with two, shout out Raph, shout out TJ, those are my guys, my two roommates. They were also doing their own thing. One works for Overtime, and the other one has his own network called the Stallion Sports Network. So we got to just kind of live there, and we actually worked. Funny, not like playing on my album, but we worked a 9 to 5 for 4 days a week. Actually, like in a studio working, and it was just like, okay, we're going to kind of give you some pointers, but like do what you do. Work on content. They had it was a fully new facility the first time they ever did this class. So it was awesome. It was like 9 kids in there too. So
Did they provide like cameras?
Yeah.
Did they provide editing software, everything?
Cameras,
That's
software,
sick.
everything. They had an awesome, my favorite thing, they called it was the 414 room. It was like an all green screen area. So a lot of the content I shot over the summer was shot there. So I did like an ambitious Jack Harlow freestyle, the So Gone challenge. I did a lot of those in that room, and it was just a cool opportunity for me to learn new ways to promote myself. And the bigger thing for me was to build better habits when I go back to Tempe. So just to build better, consistent posting habits and understanding to make different types of content. Because that's what I did this whole summer. I was doing like
So that was part of a class or an internship? Or what was
class.
that?
It was like literally a class. It was like, hey, like
Go create content for
go
4
create
months?
create content for 2 months. We'll pay for it all, and come down. And it was
That's
like
sick.
awesome. It was
But how were you graded on that, or is it just creative freedom?
it was graded
Did you have,
somewhat.
like, certain amount of pieces of content you had to make, or how did that
it was
work?
like 10 pieces of content, and there was some other stuff on the side. Like we worked with a client as well, so we had to like make social media for them. But like my professor, she was awesome. She's worked for like BET, MTV, so she like understands what it's like to go viral and understands how to really post. And like, so she really like, we had like a one-on-one conversation, and she like, oh, I heard your music, like I like it, here's what I want you to do. I want you to promote more of the 760. I want you to do more of that. Like, and I was starting to listen to her and understand that, and it was working. Like really, like my numbers they doubled. In the 2 months that I was there, they doubled. And I'll show you off camera, but like they literally like doubled
Your analytics.
in analytics and all that, and doing reels and doing that. So I think it's just now bettered me. The tools that I've learned from that have just allowed me to grow, and hope I'm going to continue to use that for the time being. So yeah.
What's like a good strategy that you learned? Let's say that an artist is listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
You're like,
Ooh.
well, how would you tell an artist how many pieces of content? What's something easy that they could do right away that you've learned just from trying and error, something that works?
Always having something different. I think that's the one thing that I've done, and I've always been like that, where I always have to be doing something different at all times, whether like posting something different or like having an idea. It's always just being fresh. It's always having a different idea, and not being afraid to do it. Like, I think that's the one thing. Like, we were talking with this one person from BuzzFeed. They had like a guest speaker come in, and he was talking about how it's okay to be cringe. And I looked at that, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm a rapper. Like, I gotta hold down my image. I can't be let him see me slip. But he taught me that, and he has to do stuff too that like he's not entirely like. It's not like he's not proud of, but like he has a passion for. Like, it's his idea. He wants to do it, but he's afraid about what other people are gonna say. So for me, like, I just think the one thing for any artist listening, it's just to not be afraid to what other people say. Because that's social media. Like, I can guarantee you, if you had to look at your comment section and saw all the people, like, if someone was bad-mouthing you, do you think they're really going to say that? Do you think they're going to say that to your face?
Yeah, most people
Do you think they're really going to say that to you? Nah, like, I'm just saying, like, some will. Some are crazy enough to do that. But I think it's just not having, just to get that out of your head and just doing different things. And even looking at what other people are doing. Clearly, there's people that are having more followers than you and having more views on songs, and they're clearly doing something that you're not. Like, I'm not saying you got to rip them off or take what they're doing, but might as well look into it and then make it your own. So that's what I definitely looked into. And it's not even like, I didn't even learn like what the right times to post. Like, I have certain times or certain things where it's like, okay, I know to post this time because I'm going to get the most views. But I think it was just more about doing different pieces of content, being creative. And yeah, it was all over the
What
place.
is like the piece of content that performed the best that you've seen on TikTok or social or
It was when I went to.
reels
Oh,
or-
for me? Are you saying for
Personally,
me?
yeah,
Oh,
like,
when I went to Venice, Beach, I never have done like a man on the street thing, and I was getting pestered about that for like a month in my class. So like you should do man on the street. So what I did was
Man
I
on
was
the street, like interviewing people.
interviewing
on the street.
people. So I did it was the first time I've ever hit like, it sounds stupid, but like I hit 10K on like my reels, and I've
Hey,
never.
that's good,
that was
bro.
awesome.
Some
I was
people
cool.
never- some people
Yeah,
never
that was
hit
lit.
fucking
It was
5K.
cool. I was like, damn, like I really like I was awesome. Like I was a cool feeling. But I dressed up in my full 9-to-5 suit and tie in the middle of Venice Beach, and it was probably like 80 degrees. So
Yeah.
like I was a little sunburned after, but I went up and I asked people what their unpopular music opinion was, and there was a lot of Taylor Swift slander. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like a lot of people were like, she's overrated, and I was like,
Hey,
what?
She's a freaking beast. Bro.
She's a beast. Like I was like every person.
Kanye made her. You know,
It
but
was
whatever.
crazy. Nah, hey, you gonna get in trouble. I can't say anything. But shout out her
He made
fans.
her famous, bro.
I'm gonna let you say that. I ain't saying nothing. But basically, I went down to Venice. I was in the full 9-to-5 suit, and I literally was just like, hey, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna ask you what your unpopular music opinion is, and I want you to say whatever's on your mind, because I feel like that's the one thing I want to hear, and especially as an artist, I want to hear what other people are thinking, and that's like those are my consumers, like those are people. So then I was also promoting my music at the same time. I actually got to meet. I didn't put it on camera because he wouldn't let me, but I met. Do you know who BLP Kosher is? He's
To be
the
honest,
crazy.
no.
He's this crazy rapper. He's not crazy. He's from Florida. He's got not like a yarmulke. I don't know what to call it. But if you just type in BLP Kosher, there's gonna be some people that are gonna know who he is. You just gotta look at a picture of him,
I'll
and you're
look it
gonna
up
know who he
after,
is.
yeah.
But I met him, and I did it, but he wouldn't let me post, unfortunately. But he was a really nice guy to meet too overall. But I just got to meet a lot of interesting people that had some interesting music takes. But I also got to learn from people about what they're listening to, and it was all over the place. But I was.
Is that where you met Adam 22?
That is not where I met Adam 22. Great transition, by the way. No, I met Adam 22. Gosh, what was it? My freshman summer going into sophomore year in Santa Monica Pier. That's where I met. And then I got on No Jumper, and then now we all know what's happened to Adam 22, and it's just kind of gone nuclear at this point. But it wasn't at that time. It's funny because like people didn't know. People thought I met him that day. And then it's when I posted that video, and everyone's like, oh, like you met him that day. I was like, no, that was from like 2 years ago. So like recycling content, that's another good point too. Recycling content. And if you have, I still post Desert Underground things because it was like obviously great content. Shout out to you
Bro,
guys.
we
But, like,
love you for that, man. We love you for
A lot of
Gotta
artists
promote,
don't.
man.
one of the
A lot
first
of
For
artists
real.
that we
do
give
it.
them these high quality videos. They don't
I'm
repost
taking it. I'm
man.
taking the high quality videos. I need that personally. So of course I'm gonna recycle that. It was properly shot. Shout out to you guys. I'm not gonna like, you know how I feel. Come on now. But yeah, like things like that. Like I was bored, and it wasn't like you can call it like, oh, it was clout chasing or something. Like no, like in that time, he was and still is the most talked about person on the internet. I happened to meet him, do it freestyle for him, make it on No Jumper. I had a clip, and I was like, why not post it?
Exactly.
And I'm wearing my merch too on top of that, so of course I'm gonna flex that a little bit. But that was an interesting experience meeting out in 22. I'm still a fan though. I don't care what anyone says. So yeah.
It's a lot of stuff, but people just love to overreact, and it's marketing.
It is
at
marketing.
At the end of the day, this was at that point where it's like, it's marketing, brother.
What hasn't he done?
It doesn't matter what, because people's opinions don't matter. It's about, can you get people's attention?
Yeah.
Of course, you gotta have self-respect, and you gotta be, whatever you end up doing, there's consequences. But also, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I wouldn't do some of the stuff he's doing, or let his wife do whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's like another conversation.
I don't think I would
But
either, but yeah.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. In 100 years, we're all gonna be gone. Whatever he does or doesn't do, it's not gonna
Exactly.
matter. Yeah, his family legacy and all that shit matters. His kids.
People aren't
whatever
gonna be
happens.
talking about it. That's
but
why-
at the end of the day, like, if he wants to fucking do that and get people's attention, and everyone on Twitter is either talking shit about him, but they're mentioning him. And by having more mentions, he gets
Yeah.
more views. By having more views, he gets more sponsors. By having more sponsors, he could invest more into the business. He could hire more actresses for his Plug Talk show.
Yeah.
He could do more production. He could hire more production companies. So he understands the game.
Oh,
If
yeah.
if I get people's attention, I could monetize that.
I mean,
There's
the
few
fact
people
He's doing that.
The fact that we're even talking about him right now. too,
Exactly.
like, you know.
We're talking about him
Yeah.
because his marketing is working. And yeah, there's good ways to do marketing, and there's some weird,
There's some weird ways.
repercussional ways to do marketing. But at the end of the day, it's just marketing. And this one understands it. You know, he
Yeah.
started, I think you were saying BMX
Yeah.
magazine, and then he transitioned to Twitter, interviewing rappers, and then one went viral. He kept doing it, and then.
If it says anything, when I met Adam 22 at the Santa Monica Pier, my buddy who I was with he barely knew who he was. And then like now we're at a point where like everyone knows who he is, but like I've been a fan of No Jumper for like 5 years, I want to say, like forever. Like I've been a genuine fan. Like I love what he's done. And I also like it's from like a marketing side, I've really liked it. So like, and then like for that to kind of happen, I was like in my fanboy moment, I was like, yo, what's up? And then they're like, yo, can you freestyle? And then like at the time I could not freestyle. So like I don't want to spoil anything, but like I just sang a song of mine and like and then but he liked it because it was I think I did oh shit. I don't know what the song was, but I'm pretty sure I did that. And then now I'm able to do a little more now. But it was just funny where now 2 years later, he's like the most talked about person on the internet. And I had to post about it, man. It was just funny because I was going through some old stuff and I was like, yo, people are really like, there's going to be people like the reaction was, oh, you met him that day. Or then some people like you said, see, and you're a real one for that because you knew that it was 2 years ago. So I appreciate you for that. See, you saw that in the past. So like some people didn't know. So I'm checking to see who you are. But yeah, but that was an awesome experience. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, that's a good way going back to you said recycling content.
Yeah.
So let's say if a piece of content does really well for you, if you just literally wait a month, you could repost it again. Because going back to the Russell, he does that a lot. So he'll have a video go viral. He'll post like 50 new videos and then he'll post the same video again. And now it's a fresh in that month, there's new followers. The algorithm is going to push it to different people. And that's why I always tell artists, like, if you have an old song, the way the artist should be posting is like, unless your song has like 10 million views, nobody has seen it. No one has seen your shit. And then like 3 months, you get new followers, new fans. Just keep posting.
I'll give you something right now too. I had a couple of surprises for the pod, but I wanted to tell you something. So I'm gonna re-drop this song that I have. I dropped it about 3 years ago. It's called "Gonna Love Me," and it's like a great song. And I'm re-releasing it coming up. And I don't know if you guys know who this artist is. Have you ever heard of Eam Triplin?
No.
None of y'all heard? Okay.
To be honest, no.
So I'll get to know his music. He's an amazing artist. Seriously, he's blown up like crazy. He's on a tour with Snot. And 3 years ago, he used to just be a producer. And I got a beat, bought a lease off of his beat, and I used that beat. And it's like a good song. I like it. But now he's blown up to this big artist that he is now. Like he's like myself. He started out with like X amount of monthly listeners. In a year he blew up because he was like through TikTok and he has a couple dope songs. Like he's gonna be. I think people are gonna know about him in the next couple years. And I'm genuinely a fan because I got the beat through him. So but I'm re-releasing that song, remastering it, remixing it, and he happens to be the producer of that song. So not only like by me re-releasing it, he's blown up. I think he's got to have at least over 2 million now. Like he's like crazy. Like he's like gone. It's some people like you know him or you don't know him. But anywho, I'm re-releasing that song, and he happened to be that was from 3 years ago when he was like not. I'm not saying he was nothing, but like I just bought the beat just because I wanted to buy it, and I wrote the song, got it cleared and everything, and now I'm re-releasing it. Because of now, I just want to put his name out more, but like also it's going to help me a little bit. Sure. So it's like recycling
and also
content.
You're 10 times better now because of all the work you put in.
Oh,
so, you know, you go back to 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's like the studio time, the performing live, working with artists, working with people in Arizona, working with people in LA. Mm-hmm. Just your whole life experience, crazy, your own mental, you know, you're developing thoughts, you're going to classes, you're going to parties, you're learning about the economy, learning about the world pandemics. Like all this shit's been making you a better and more established person. Absolutely. So when you go back and redo a song, you got a better flow. You got better, you know how to work better in the studio, more confidence. Like, I think artists should do that more. Actually, go back to if you have a song that you really like, re-release it.
I love that song too to begin with, and I'm not just re-releasing it because of like who he is, but like it's also an opportunity where it's like, yo, like this dude's gone up a little bit, and this happened to just coincidentally be 3 years ago. I made this song. It sounded good then, but now I'm gonna remix it.
You're gonna go back to the studio and redo it?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the studio, redo it. I got a lot coming up, man. It's crazy, but like that was just kind of an opportunity where I saw that, and I'm also just a fan of his music too. So like I didn't connect the dots together that like it was him and then the guy, because that was 3 years ago when that song happened. I had like a lot of other songs happen since, like when he like produced that beat. But now he's doing good, and I love that song, and a lot of people were like, oh, you should re-release it and just like make it better, because like it's an older song, so I want to put it out for the world now, so like, it's gonna come out soon.
If a million people haven't listened to it, it's new to everybody.
And I'll announce on the podcast, I got a project coming out this fall. I got a dope project coming out. It's an EP. I already dropped 9 to 5 out now. Make sure you listen to it. 925. But it's called I Don't Forgive, I Forget. It's a little EP. I wanted to drop it real quick on the pod, just like a little segue, because we're talking about old music. But no, it's a lot of like, we're talking about repurposing songs. A lot of the songs that are going to be on this project were stuff I worked on when I was like 18. I'm 21 now. So it's like I worked on this back then, and I just went back in the studio and reworked on it, rewrote some of the songs, added layers to it. So it's going to be like a lot more. It's not going to be rap though. it's crazy. I'm not gonna be rapping a whole lot. You may hear me sing a
Okay.
little bit.
That's
You may
good.
it's gonna be a lot more alternative rap, something that I'm more passionate about doing. So you're gonna hear a lot more instruments and all that. But yeah, I don't forgive, I forget. I'm excited about it.
This
but
fall.
yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be in the lookout for that. And so what's your strategy to release that project? Do you already have like a marketing plan? Are you studying other people's marketing on how they release music, or what's the process behind?
So
dropping something?
I pretty much, so we got 7. I think it's gonna be 7 songs on the album. So I was just in LA like the last week working with some people, just working on the project and everything. But we got a dope little marketing tactic. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'm just I said I wanted to release 2 projects. So I took a lot of my time and energy as far as the marketing goes for the last album, 9 to 5. So that was me in the full suit and tie. I was gonna come in with the full suit and tie, if I'm being 100% honest. But I realized we are in the Coachella Valley. It is 110. I am not doing that, respectfully. But we got some plans coming up. I think we're going to release it in the fall, but I'm definitely looking into what other people are doing. I think the other reason why I'm not making an album and an EP, it has to do with, it's kind of sad to say that we're in this world now where everything's so quick. You have to be so quick to attention with like reels and posting. And it's a sad thing, especially with music, because like I don't feel the need to necessarily drop a 16-song album, because I know for a fact there ain't going to be a whole lot of people that are going to listen to that full 16. So why not make it 7 songs that are all really good? Like, not saying every song on that 16 album can't be good, but 7 songs that can navigate someone.
It's easy. It's more easily accessible.
I've been seeing more people do that. Like Ian Triplin's a prime example too. He did that too. I don't know. There's an artist named Wynn. She's from Portland. She's this white girl from Portland. She's really good. Really, if you haven't had a chance, Wynn. Wynne. She's solid. She's really good. She just did something on. All you got to do is see her sway in the morning freestyle, and she rapped about Victor Wembanyama. I mean, like I give her props where props is due. But she dropped an EP too. So I feel like the world of music now is gonna start changing from dropping full albums to EPs.
It's already been like that,
and it's been doing that. Yeah,
it's singles and EPs, bro. It's people after 2-3 weeks, even if you have a hit. What's next?
It's literally
next?
like I dropped the album and I loved it. I dropped 9 to 5. I loved it. Like it took me like 9 months to really go into the depth of that.
I had Ethan Morales on my last podcast, and he's like, "Oh, I look at making music like it's a sport.
It is.
It's like
it's competitive. Yeah,
it's competitive, but the training. So you're working on an album. It's like training for a fight. You're doing the album. You train for the fight. Then you have the fight. But after the fight, you got to work on the next fight. You gotta work on the next album, the next release, the next single,
facts.
the
That's
next
facts.
music video, the next behind the scene, the next photo shoot, the next interview.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a lot of work, and a lot of people are like, damn, I got to put in all this work. But of course, like you're trying to make a living from music. You're trying to hopefully maybe one day be big, maybe one day be on a billboard
100%.
or be on like, of course, if you want to be in the top 100, you got to work. Like you're in the
and
top
it's not even
100.
just music. It's like social media and doing content too. Like you have to be able to mix in the world that we're in now. You have to mix both. You have to do that because
unless you have money to, unless you get signed to a label. But what a label does, the label does all the marketing for you and gets you the right connects and pays for a lot of the studio time and pays for features, and they pay to get you on magazines and get you on big interviews. And that's what a label does. You still have to put in the work, but the label is kind of like fronting you money so you could like get a shot, and then the audience decides, But if you don't have a label and you don't have money, you gotta work everybody, bro. And then I don't know. I feel like a lot of artists, they get discouraged when it comes to hard work.
It is. I get it too, because I'm the same way too, but I've learned how to push through that. I feel like you got to have thick skin, especially when you make music, because everyone's got to make a comment about it. For every 10, I think someone said for every 10 good comments, there's always one bad one, and everyone's going to focus on the bad one. Yeah. But for me, just how I operate, like I just don't care. Like I don't care what other people got to say, because like Kanye made this. I know it sounds interesting. We're just transitioning this, but Kanye saying I don't take advice from people less successful than me, and he was referring to people more in the music industry. Yeah. And for me, and I even talked about this in an interview, where like I take advice from like my family, people close to my circle that I've not just like know about my music, but like literally have been there from the start to now. When I was 16 on my first show on a chair at a house party, like singing, doing my first concert, to people that are in the music industry. I really take advice from people in that way. And even on a creative note, like yourself, like we talk all the time about little things like that. So I feel like that's the one thing, especially with music, is that you have to have thick skin, but you also have to learn to grow outside of where you're at. And I feel like me being in Arizona and Los Angeles, I've been able to see so many different angles to music, and those experiences I'm forever grateful for.
What have you learned from people in Arizona or people from LA? Like, what's the difference between like the work ethic, the connections.
crazy.
Like what's it out there?
The difference between Arizona and LA are so crazy. LA is just like everyone's networking. Everyone's networking. Every person, and I think people get so like I got a little scared at first because I was like, because I'm in LA, like I don't think I can do this. But like, no, like literally, you'd be amazed about the guy that's like working the cashier at a supermarket that like happens to be, I have a connection to this big time producer, or I happen to be making beats and I'm just trying to make it out. Let me send some to you. And the work and the energy that they're putting in there just to make it out, you can see that in the music. You can see like if I met a couple producers in LA and like I love their beats because like that is their 9 to 5. That is what they are doing. Like so they're putting their time, they're putting their energy. And I'm not saying people don't do that I work with. I'm very exclusive with who I work with because I like certain sounds. I like people that I know have the drive like myself or can match it or somewhat have it. But people in LA, everyone's doing something. Everyone is literally like, it's either an artist, a producer, agent. Like it's crazy. It's actually because it's so like people say it's fake in LA and it's fake in that, but like I look at it as more as like it's all out of towners. It's a lot of people that are coming like from Milwaukee or from like St. Louis, like they're coming to chase their dreams in LA and they're just trying to figure out how to make it out like every other person. So it's a lot of amazing opportunities. Super hustle. I was only there 2 months and I really was like, could I stay here for like a while now? Like, I'm like, I only got 2 months of this, but like, I was loving it. Like, I really like got to meet some amazing people. I got to learn more about myself though, about what like with music. I really did. Like, I got to learn more about understanding, like I was saying earlier, like I took a step back from my whole process used to be write a different song every day, like write a new song, do that. But I was like, no, like, let me focus more on the business side. Let me like Yungbc as a, like, I don't like to say third person, but like as a name. Let's make that a brand. Let's work with different companies. Let's get brand deals. Let's get people to pay you money because you have X amount of followers to post something for them. So I looked at it more because that's where the money's at. You don't make money on streams. Everyone knows that. You make money on merch and you make money on touring. And sometimes you get money on shows. So I was looking more on that outside. And I think that's benefited me a lot because it's not, now those people see my music and they're like, we'll pay you because you can reach out to people. And some people follow me based not on the music. Like they follow me because of my content. So I'm cool with either or. I mean, it's just more eyes on my music and overall. So yeah.
Some people are going to follow you for certain reasons.
That's it.
Yo. Low.
We back.
Yeah, so some people are going to follow you for different reasons.
Yeah.
Some people are going to follow you for one song. Some people are going to follow you for another song. One for a piece of content. But at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah.
Yungbc, that's your product.
Facts.
So your artist.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
Your product, bro. You're productizing yourself, and that's the future of economy is productizing yourself. That's the way it's going to be. Everybody as an individual is a brand now. So maybe some people specialize in one thing, but not everybody just does one thing no more.
Yeah.
And everything's so accessible because with the phone, you can make music. With the phone, you could do a podcast. With the phone, you can make videos. And because everyone can do it, it's more competitive, but everyone's still an individual. There's 7 billion versions of this.
You know what's crazy that you just made that comment? I'm gonna point back to our first interview, and I still remember this. Our first interview, you can look it up if you want. You literally you predicted something. I'm gonna tell you right now. You actually predicted something about talking about how you can edit a music video on your phone. Because I will tell you, I did not use one camera when I was in LA. Not one camera. I used my phone. I only used the equipment for sound in the facilities. I filmed everything on my phone. And you literally called, like 4 years ago, you were like, everyone's going to start editing stuff off their phone now and start filming like that. And you literally like, I mean, you may know more than we know now, but I'm just saying, like, for real though, I remember you saying that. Like, I really remember you saying that. And everything I did in LA, like I had a stand, I put my phone there, and then I edited. Like, that's the other thing too, is that with content, like you also have to know how to edit. I think that's the one thing. So get familiar with like Premiere Pro.
What kind of software were you using on the phone?
Premiere Pro. Oh, on the phone. Oh, I was just filming it, and then I transfer it to my computer, and then because I edit all my videos, 100%. I edit all my videos, so I would just do the phone, transfer to my computer, Premiere Pro, After Effects, all that, and would just edit from there. So like I have my own like how you have your own like little tactics or your own little like your formula or what you think works. I have mine too. We all have our secrets, but it's one of those things where I was doing that a lot. So, and then I got a newer phone, so like the quality on it was like amazing.
Yeah, these phones are getting insane.
And that's the one thing I learned at Arizona State.
These apps you could edit now too.
Yeah.
So TikTok, CapCut.
Film
filmmaking.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's the one thing I learned at ASU too was because like matching with the journalism is also it's not just the marketing, but also how to edit, also how to properly like with Premiere Pro, like how to properly because I would do like news stories for my classes.
So
and,
they
like,
teach you editing in the classes as well.
So I just transfer that with my content. So worked out for the better, yeah.
So what's like something that you wish you knew before you went to college that you know now? Before we continue with the podcast, I want to thank Madeline Productions, the best video production studio in the Coachella Valley. I actually do producing, directing, and marketing for Madeline Productions. So you guys want to work with us, we work with different cities, we work with restaurants, we work with nonprofits. Anybody that needs excellent video and high quality content, Madeline Productions is the company for you. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description or go on Instagram at Madeline Productions. Or just hit me up. Maybe we could work out a deal there. Our second sponsor is Desert Underground. Now, Desert Underground is a music festival brand that I created last year in 2022. And after so many years of interviewing people on this podcast, I realized that there wasn't a platform. So we want to feature independent artists and give them a platform to perform on a professional stage. We want to give them content and we want to give them exposure to the rest of the world. And what's cool about Desert Underground is not only for the artists, it's also for the community. We've had over 200, 300 people on our shows and people just come and sometimes it's their first concert experience. There's people that have been to Desert Underground that have never been to a concert before. There's people that have been to Desert Underground that have never been to a music festival before, and that's what's super cool. So it's just a good community of art and people who just want to support the arts and just have a good time. So check out desertunderground.com or check out Desert Underground in the link in the description. Again, also on Instagram. And our final sponsor for today's video is OC Granite and Tile. OC Granite and Tile is a company in the Coachella Valley. So if you need to get your floors redone, if you want to do indoor, outdoor tile, if you want to get your shower redone, you want to get your kitchen redone, hit up OC Granite and Tile at tile760.com or at tile760 on Instagram and let them know that you came from the podcast. So thank you for the sponsors. Let's get back to the interview with Yungbc.
One thing I wish I did differently before I went to college. And my answer to you, basically that's the basis of the question. My answer is I'm going to say nothing because everything happens for a reason. And I was thinking about how I was my senior year. Now I'm about to be a senior in college. To how I was a senior in high school is so crazy to me. It is so I've changed a lot in a positive way. I've grown. I've matured. Like I feel like I've learned a lot just from not even just the pandemic. Like I was explaining about how the dorm that I was in, being in downtown Phoenix, not a lot of people were in downtown because there's 4 different campuses at ASU. People don't know that. There's the main one, downtown, which I was in, which is like where my major is, Polytechnic, and the West Campus. Basically, being in downtown, I was really only secluded with people in my major and like nursing and all that. And we all just had to figure out life on our own. So we all like grew up kind of together in these dorms. And like I was saying is that like our cafeteria, they normally served 800 kids. They only served 160. Like that was like they only served 160 because everyone was remote. So I feel like that was like the growing thing for me, and especially during the pandemic and all that. Like that was my freshman year. Those were probably some of my favorite memories I ever had in life because I was like in this dorm. I got to be with people that I consider like brothers now, like really like close friends of mine, people I take trips with and everything. And we every night was different, man. I joke about it, but like I didn't know what my plans were until 8 p.m. So I think like to where I was before college, like taking that chance and going to Arizona State was the best thing because my music would not be the same. My music would not be the same to where it is now. I would not be doing. I don't even know what I would be doing. So I'm gonna say nothing. But I think for anyone like advice wise, like going to college or doing something different, like just take the risk. Like it's worth it. It's worth it in ways. And if it's not, you try something differently because like it's not like I think the scary part for me is like. This is my last year of not being in school. Now I gotta like now I gotta be a big boy. Now I gotta like pay bills and figure something. Like everyone's like, you gotta figure out what you want to do. You gotta figure it out. Like now. Like you gotta have a job. You gotta do that. Like, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like you were talking about like, what are you gonna do after? I don't know yet. There's options for me. There's things that are lined up, but is that gonna be my end goal? No, my end goal, what I want to do is music, and that's what I want to stick to. And it's a different type of what I'm doing is different, and I understand that. The chances of me making it are like a lottery ticket. But I think the one thing, especially being in Los Angeles, is that I was doing different things out there. Like I like to work social media. Like I like to be creative, make content, do that. So I can easily see myself in that route if music doesn't work out. But 100% honest, I just love being on stage, man. I just love performing my stuff and the energy. It's something that like people, you either love it or you hate it, and I love it. Like I literally like I wish Desert Underground was tonight or just a show tonight so I could perform and go crazy, man. I'm for real.
Prop to show.
I gotta go crazy, man. The shows are fun, man. I love doing my shows. I think that's the one thing is the energy that shout out Winston T, the best DJ in the world. We like to bring a lot of energy on stage. Like, and we know that the majority of the crowd isn't gonna know what our stuff is, but we want to make it. So like you hear the "Let me get a hell yeah," like I love that. Like
hey, you had the crowd going, bro.
Like, that's why I like it, man. That's why I like it. That's why I love doing it.
It was so sick.
I love energy.
And we got you and you performed with Shaggy and Lando as well.
Yeah,
when we had the Desert Underground in May.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
I like your answer about like I wouldn't change a thing, and it's hard to change things when you know the outcome. Mm-hmm. Like we all could go back and say, oh, I could have done this different, but it leads you to where you are today. So the decisions you make now is just go hard as fuck, bro, because you don't know. Like if you 100%, go, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years, but if I go hard every day, and it's okay to take breaks. If there's a day off or 2 days off, mental fog sometimes so overwhelming, or you have too much work or stress, whatever it is, it's okay to take breaks. But if you go hard as fuck now, whatever happens in the next 5 years is gonna be good things because you're putting in your own energy into the world. Yeah. Your energy of the Yungbc brand, because think yourself as a brand.
No.
You're a brand. You're a brand.
Yeah, I'm a brand, yes.
Your brand, yes, music is, of course, performing in that. But like you were saying, I like that you understand the game. It's, the music is cool, and I want people to listen to my songs and sing along. But it's like, okay, I also have to make this a legit business in order for me to keep going. In order for me to do this, I got to sell merch. I got to create content. I got to book more shows. I got to collaborate with more people. Repurpose content. So
but I think all that there too, like everything, like where I don't know where I'm gonna be. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 5 years now. Like I've seen all this happen, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like it really is though. It really is. Like I never like 5 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about music. If that says anything to you, I genuinely was not. That was not a thought that crossed my mind. I was trying to do sports. I was trying to be like a sports broadcaster. If that says anything to you. Now I'm all music, so it's funny now. But I think the one best thing I learned in that time was, you know, and this is just me being 100% honest, and I don't know if this has backfired for me being here, but I think it was me respectfully not being outside of the valley, growing myself, because I didn't want to just be sheltered in and just like, because I feel like the term valley artist is like a real term in my opinion. That's just my opinion, and you know, you can say what you want on that. You can DM me, tell me your thoughts, but I really wanted to get, not out of it like purposely like, oh, I hate everyone, but like I wanted to grow myself. I wanted to have new experiences, meet different people, have new connections. But it also goes to show, like, even with the Valley too, like, you understand this, like with Desert Underground, like that was never a thought. That was never a decision. That was ever a possibility, or to see people like artists like from out here growing and doing that. But I just felt the need to, by me going to Arizona, like the shows have been fun, man. Like it really, and attending to a college market just from where I was at. Now it's about taking that next step to get out of the college market and to build still maintaining it just to get fans, but like going that next step. And I don't know what that next step's going to be, but I didn't know what ASU was going to bring from my music. So who knows what this next chapter is going to be. I'm excited.
Often do you perform over there? How often do they have shows? Or,
a lot.
Like you said, there's a lot of clubs. Like,
yeah.
How often?
So Arizona State pays me to do some stuff. That's just through the content. That's literally through content alone. Like for me, just promoting myself and marketing myself. I feel like that's also, I would say 90% of the time helped me with my shows. But there was a point, I think this year I was performing once every 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I'd say I was doing a different show. Whether, I don't know, a lot of it was like either like an ASU thing or like a competition, or hey, this venue here is like doing a hip hop festival. So I got in touch with a lot of dope promoters out there too. So I was doing a couple shows. So it's all over the place. But right now I'm planning my own shows now. Like I'm really like, I always loved doing that, and I always like planning events. So like that was like my thing. But I'm planning right now a little show in Arizona. Just to promote I Forget, the new EP coming out. So I'm doing a full show for that. I've been in the works of we got a venue secured. Got that. So I'm basically doing my own little Desert Underground in this sense. Really though, I really am. That's so sick. I got a lot of people that are on the project from Arizona. And I think the one thing too, especially with Arizona, the people got to understand this. Like truthfully, if you're trying to make music, the one thing you got to understand is you got to sell tickets. You have to sell tickets. Like that's just where I've seen it, because every show that I've done in Arizona, I've had to sell a minimum amount of tickets to
What's usually a minimum amount of tickets?
Sometimes it depends. Sometimes it can be 25 to 40. Sometimes it's just 10. And like you basically, so it's like you put down $200, right? And let's say you got to sell 20 tickets for $10. You make that money back, and then everything after that you get 100% of. So it's like a $200 buy-in. It's like a loan. It's like a buy-in at first, and then you're making that money back by selling tickets. So you're hustling. You're trying to get as many tickets.
Yeah.
So that's how normally in Arizona, at least when I do shows, that's normally how it is. It's normally like you got to sell X amount of tickets, and then everything after that you keep 100%, which I think is a good deal because if you're getting, let's say $20, like you got to sell 10 tickets for $20, and you keep selling more tickets, like you get an extra 100 in your pocket. So it just matters about how you just got to sell tickets. Like truthfully, it's not like. It's cool, but that's the business. Like, truthfully, the business is to sell tickets. Like, you can have a nice name and you can be that, but like, you gotta sell tickets. Like, and some shows are good, some shows are good, some shows are bad. It just depends. But that's the thing is like, you gotta get as many fans as you possibly can. Because
have you ever had like a bad show?
Yeah. In Arizona.
Or just what was like your worst show ever? Though you're like, damn, I fucked up there. I should have done this.
So would we say the show has to do more with the promoter or more with like myself? Because I can name a couple funny promoter stories that I got. A particular venue, actually. I'm not gonna
tell us.
I'm not gonna name names or anything like that. But it was happened to be here in the Coachella Valley. I did do a show here through a certain promoter. A guy ran up on. It was on New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. I did a show. I want to say it was 2019. 2019. It was right, but like 2018 or 2019. And I did the show. I got paid to do the show and everything like that. And a guy ran up on stage. Some guy was drunk and ran up on stage. And me being the smart ass that I am, I tried to get him to rap. I was pissed, but I was like, all right, rap. Like, let me see what you got. He did not like that whatsoever. But they got them to take it off. And it was just poorly ran. But I think that's the other different, like, being in Arizona, like, it's all venues that I've been doing. So I've done a lot of dope venues, and like, they're very like, okay, your set time is this, you are doing it at this time, and you are like, there is no ifs, ands, and buts. You can complain. This is what you sold tickets wise. This is why you're performing at this time. So they're very like cutthroat. Like, it's like, but I like that. I need that. I need structure. I need to, and it pushes you more too, because then you see a lot of artists, especially in Arizona, based on how big it is, and like, there's some good Arizona artists out there, man. Like, they're really like, Arizona's become more like California. It's crazy. I call it it's like Arizona California hybrid, basically. Like, a lot of people from California are coming to Arizona, and they're seeing the growth of Arizona is like the city, even the sports teams, man. Like, really, when I was a freshman, the D-backs sucked. The Suns were all right, and now the Suns are like one of the best teams in the league. The D-backs, I mean, you can say what you want, but like, the D-backs are now a good team. So like, the city, and they had the Super Bowl there. That was crazy. Have you ever heard of Waste Management Open? Waste Management. It's one of the craziest. If you are a golf fan, not even a golf fan, if you just like to drink and watch golf, you got to go. It's the most fun atmosphere in the world. And that happened to be the same weekend as Super Bowl weekend, which happened to be playing at the Cardinal Stadium. So that was the craziest weekend I've had in college. Like, it literally was, you go to this golf tournament, you wake up at 6 a.m, you're drinking, you're having a good time. And I just turned 21. This was like 2 weeks after I turned 21. So like, I was having the time of my damn life, basically. But it's a fun time. It's a very like known Arizona thing. But like, if you ever have a chance to go and like check it out, it's just a crazy atmosphere. And they got a par 3 course. It's called the Hole 16. And like, every big golfer, like, it's like a PGA thing. So like, a lot of big golfers do that. And it's just like, people wake up at 5 a.m. to be in the front row of this like little stadium thing. And it's like just and people are like throwing beer when they make a putt. Like, it's
really
it's not
wild.
it's not a golf atmosphere. It's not like the little clapping. It's like going, like, it's crazy. It's so much fun though. So I'm looking forward to it. But you gotta check it out. Like, go vlog. I don't even know what, but if you haven't heard of it, it's an Arizona thing. You gotta go. You gotta be there for sure.
Waste Management.
Waste Management Open, man. It's a lot of fun. It's so fun. It really is.
No, I mean, we gotta definitely.
You gotta vlog, make a video about it, man. I'm telling you, it is an insane environment. Everyone dresses up nice, but it's like, it's not even golf. It's just everyone everyone's just wasted, and it's like yelling at golfers. It's like kind of lit, so it's funny. Yeah,
You have people tailgating.
yeah. No, people, like, I'm telling you. So like, that whole 16 is like so iconic. Like, Tiger Woods hit like a crazy shot there too, but people, like, my roommates like tried to wake me up at 5:30 in the morning, and it's all the way in Scottsdale. So like, Tempe to Scottsdale is like 15 minutes. They were really like, yo, we're going to wake up and like be front of the, like, we're going to stay in like, and it's standing room. So like, you're there from 5:30 to 3, and all the things you got is water and alcohol. It's like, it's only beer. So everyone's just like chugging beer, just getting drunk, sneaking in shooters, like doing all that. But like, they encourage that. So it's like a party. It's a little party. Yeah.
Just a daytime party,
really
watching golf.
That's Arizona for you. Yeah. That's Arizona. Goddamn. It's like, that's Arizona.
And what's, I want to ask you, like, when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And the Yungbc brand.
Yes.
How does your parents feel about just everything you're doing?
Still supportive, man. They've been nothing but supportive. I'm forever appreciative of them. Seriously, like they don't get involved. They don't really like get involved. They like kind of like do your thing. But like if my mom's gonna tell me like, hey, like don't be posting that, or like, hey, like look into this, I'm gonna listen to her. Like my mom is the reason why I did music. She has one of the most amazing voices for real, and she taught me piano when I was 4. She's a huge reason to what I mean, she wasn't a rapper. Like none of my family like was into rap before me. I mean, that had a lot to do with just like my early upbringing. But yeah, man, they're I can't get emotional about it, but like they really are like a huge reason like to what I do, and I'm forever appreciative of them in so many ways.
On which one? His camera?
I was giving them. It's gonna be like writing the motivational speech. Damn it. Sorry, mom. Jesus. Hold up. I'm gonna go back in my. Are we good?
Now you're good.
All right, we're good now. It's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun editing after this. It's gonna be fun.
We're
man.
not editing, right? It's raw. Just
We going raw. I love that even more. No, without my parents, man, I'm for real. Like they have been nothing but supportive of me. I'm so appreciative. But my mom I think my mom low key likes talking about it too. I don't know why, but like it's funny, like because it'll all be like her friends are like, oh, like did you see what he posted in this song? Like there's some songs she doesn't like though. I think there's probably she loves a couple of them. She actually likes a lot of them, but like she loves.
What about that Milfs song? Can you tell us about that?
I knew this was gonna come up, man. I can't get away from that. Well, I made this song. Yeah, my mom hates that song. I respectfully hates that song. Yeah, she hates that. I knew that was gonna come up.
So what's the story behind that song?
What's the story behind it? The story behind it is about the first time I got with the MILF. It was the first time. It's a song called Milfs. I put it out like a couple years ago. It's a dope song though. I really like it. But it's the first time I ever got with an older woman, and it changed my life dramatically. And now I'm this grown man, and I'm here now. Like it was a crazy story. It literally like the whole song. So
How old was I? How old were you, and how old was the person?
How old was she? She was 25. I'm gonna say 25 years older than me, and I was turning 20. I was at a bar. I was at a bar, and my buddies were distracting me because I had a surprise party I didn't know about for my birthday that my roommate was planning and had all my friends there. But I'll get to that in a minute. Basically, we were at this bar. And I joked about it like all year, like I'm gonna get with a MILF or something like that. And then my buddy was like wingman. He was like, "Yo, it's his birthday. Like you should say what's up. Like all this." And she wasn't bad. Like she was 47. She was 47. And you know, I'm not saying like anything crazy happened, but like I did get a free shot. I did get a free shot out. It was cool. It was lit. I'm not gonna like name the place or anything.
No,
but basically, then I went home. They drove me back home, and I ended up I was like, I can't wait to tell my buddies this. And then lo and behold, I had like 100 people at my house for this surprise party. And I'm still in shock about the first event. And then you got this event going on. So it made a beautiful song, though, I will say. I love performing it. It's funny. I remember the funniest thing with that song is I love performing it. I performed it on like Mother's Day. And I made a little thing about, I swear, no, for real. I made a little thing on stage, and I don't know why, but it just came to me. I was like, yo, I know it's Mother's Day. And I was building up this song, and I was like, hey, I had a show on Mother's Day. And it was like, hey, like, you know, like, I'm happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But, like, you know, this is the first time I got with an older woman. It's called Milfs. And then we rolled the song, and it was a whole thing. And the moms loved it, though. So I've definitely gotten more attention from older women. I'm not lying about that. I genuinely have. It changes your perspective. It genuinely does. Brian, you never got with a MILF? Nothing? Like, respect, nothing.
I've had a few encounters.
Encounters, okay, all right.
They you know, they're good people. You know, they have what do you call? They're very humble. You know,
Humble,
very down to earth.
Very.
The older a woman is, the more distinction she is. You know, you hold more conversations with them. You know,
Now they do though. It changed. Listen, my life has changed for the better ever since that day. I mean, it's all in the song. It's all in the song, so that's why I'm telling it, because like literally the song is me talking about. Well, the first verse is the first time I got with an older girl. So I was 19 at a frat party, and she happened to be 22. She was 21, And that was like the first verse. And the second verse is then when I got with the MILF. And I may need to make a MILFs part 2. We'll see what happens. I'd like to, we can maybe do
We
that.
get more experiences. We're going to have to take it to the nest.
Yo, I'm 21 now. Let's go. After the pod, let's do it. Let's do it. That way, Brian, you're not 21 though.
6 months, bro.
6 months? He DD. It's all perfect. We got to cover it. Hell yeah. I mean, you got to make sure you can get out the house, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just going to be vlogging, dog. And just,
Perfect. That's a good little episode right there. Just me at the nest. That's perfect. Hell yeah.
we're here, scout. We're trying to create the next song. We're Yungbc.
Oh, we should shoot it. I'm gonna talk to the nest, see if we can shoot the music video there potentially. That'd be shoot at the nest. We got it right there. Come on now, let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, the song may be a little old, but it's about recycling content. We're recycling. We're recycling.
We're making it new. We're fresh. And that's what these ladies are doing with you guys. You know,
shout out the nest, man. Shout out the nest.
Fresh and new, dog.
For real, if you haven't been in the nest, I don't know what you're doing. I haven't, but I gotta go. For real, you gotta know. You know. That's all I gotta say.